Ever wake up, stare at the ceiling, and think, is this really my life for the next 40 years? Same job, same couch, same loop. If you're 25, 30, 35, and feeling stuck, stay with me. Breaking the rut is simpler than you think. All through my 20s and the beginning of my 30s, I felt like I was sprinting on a treadmill set to stroll. No degree, no savings, and no clear direction. My routine? Work, scroll, game, repeat. Every few months, a friend's house purchase or fancy vacation would spark jealousy, but then that fire died fast. I'd shrug, think, must be nice, they're lucky. Truth is, I'd grown comfortable being uncomfortable, drifting through life on autopilot. One night, I was watching a TV show, and one of the characters asked another how they managed to do the right thing so frequently. His response? Step 1, I want to do the right thing. Step 2, I do the right thing. It's very simplistic and obvious, right? The character continues to further elaborate by explaining that you can't actually do something unless you make an intentional, conscious effort. Something in that speech resonated with me. It was a little silly, sure. Oversimplified, yeah. And true. If nothing changes, nothing changes. And waiting another year or two wouldn't magically give me the willpower to improve myself. You often hear the quote, the best day to start was yesterday, and the next best day, today. So I hit reset. One small, intentional move at a time. That night, I wrote down everything I wanted life to be, not just what it currently was. And that's where I built my first rough draft of a life map. So, if you're watching this video, grab a pen, a sheet of paper, and start mapping out your desired life. We need to figure out what we desire in life in order to make a deliberate effort to move toward those goals. First, start big. Fast forward 30 years into the future and jot down the dream. Not where do you see yourself in 30 years, rather, where do you like to be in 30 years? For your 30-year vision, consider what is your ideal career? What do your relationships look like with family and friends? Do you own a home? If so, what type? Are you happy, healthy, debt-free? Once you have that completed, we're going to do the same for 10 years, 1 year, 1 month, and this week. The 10-year checkpoint should be, after 10 years, you've had enough time to hit some major milestones. These could be working in the career field you desired, purchasing your first property, having a well-funded savings account. For 1 year, it should be this year's pivot. After 1 year, you should have had enough time to be partway into one of your major milestones. This could be working toward your degree or a certification or self-study. It could be mean that you're partway into your savings goal or well on your way to a health goal. Your 1 month goalpost is the point where you quit planning to take action and actually begin. Apply for that new job or go back to school for a needed degree. Budget so that you can map out your expenses and plan accordingly. Maybe it's beginning a new exercise routine or better sleeping habits. Start studying to gain the knowledge that you need for those goals. And this week's nudge is to complete a single action. What's any action you can complete this week? Better yet, an action that you can complete today. It could be as simple as putting a pen to paper and mapping out your timeline. It could be beginning research into the requirements for that desired career. It could also be an audit of your daily routine to find out when you have extra time that in your day that you could be working toward those goals. Now, this idea of writing down your life might feel silly at first, but imagine waking up and realizing that your life has finally aligned with that picture in your head. Mapping gave me direction, but something was still pulling me backward. That's when I had to be honest about what was actually holding me back from working on those goals. It took some time, but eventually I had a list of reasons, or excuses really, on why I was stuck in the same place after so many years. Now, it would be difficult for me to cover all of these traps in one video, so I decided to take the 3 most personally impactful and cover those for now. If you'd like me to go over the rest, please let me know in the comments below. First trap is autopilot mode. It's where you're not unhappy, you're just disconnected. This issue that we need to tackle is the autopilot mindset. Autopilot is when you're constantly going through the motions in order to get to that one part in the day or week where you enjoy, get that dopamine hit, and then move on to the next day. This was a big trap for me. I'd come home from work, laze around a little bit, and then get that notification that a few of my friends are online. And then it's time to game. Then I join them, and then the next thing I know, it's 12 a.m. and time for bed. Wash, rinse, and repeat. Now for you, it might not be gaming. It could be doom scrolling on your phone, or the simple act of sitting down on that couch and watching that Netflix logo pop up on the screen. The fix for this requires 2 steps. Number 1, audit your week. Jot down time that isn't designated for something intentional like sleep, work, or school, or any other daily requirements. Once you have that down, see how much miscellaneous time you have in the day and fill a portion of it with something that will help you move toward your mapped goals. Now, a warning, this shouldn't be an all or nothing situation. If you find you have 3 miscellaneous hours on a Monday, don't try and fill all 3 hours with tasks. It should be small and intentional so that you don't burn out. You still have to have some enjoyment in your life to maintain that motivation to grow. Number 2, attempt to interrupt those 1 or 2 habits that you have that will trigger an unproductive evening. For me, I know that once I get home and eat dinner, if I sit down on the couch and recline, that's it for my day. It means that I'm likely to lose at least an hour to the TV, and then I'll find myself thinking, well, maybe just one more episode. Instead of automatically sitting down, if I move to work on one quick 15-minute task, like a quick workout or some brief research into a skill I'd like to develop, I end up likely to complete 30 minutes to an hour's worth of additional and productive tasks, rather than immediately watching TV. And then when I go to sit down on the couch and watch some TV, I feel much better about my productivity that day. One habit swap can equate to 1 reclaimed hour, and suddenly you're not stuck, you're steering. Trap number 2 is the perfection trap. This is when your plan for action is perfect until you never begin it. Have you ever thought, you know what? I'm gonna start jogging next week. And then you wake up on that Monday and you're like, we'll start next week. Or better yet, have you ever thought, well, I have the makings of a plan here, but it's not really the finished product yet, so I should probably spend another week or so tweaking minor details. In the first stage of the trap, you're stuck in the planning phase. You tell yourself that the perfect plan will result in the perfect execution, and anything less than a perfect plan will result in, well, execution. In the second stage of the trap, you've completed planning and move forward with the perfect starting day in mind. Feel to start on that day, and then push the date back to the next perfect day, which happens to be next week. To this day, I still struggle with this. Even working on this video resulted in me falling into the first stage of this trap. But you're watching it now. The trick is, you don't need to have the perfect plan to begin working toward it. In fact, oftentimes, the only time you'll be able to figure out what your plan is lacking is after you've started. For most goals in life, the planning shouldn't take longer than the actual process itself. Set a deadline within which you will complete your planning and stick to it. For smaller changes such as meal prepping, budgeting, exercise planning, you shouldn't really need more than a week to consider and plan out what that change looks like. For larger things like career changes, a big financial decision, or something similar, give yourself a month, but break it down into 1-week goals that you can actually track the progress being made. The way to avoid the second phase of this trap is what we'll call the Tuesday rule. You just simply start. Honestly, there's no perfect day to start your plans or lifestyle changes. If you fail to begin on Monday, just start on Tuesday. The third trap is something I call the envy loop. You scroll, you compare, and you spiral. Okay, so you've avoided the first 2 traps, and then you've begun to make progress. You're feeling good until you check your phone. You scroll through Instagram or TikTok on your lunch break, and there it is, a photo of someone you went to school with. They're smiling in front of their new house, or they're announcing their promotion, or showing off a vacation that you couldn't afford even with 2 paychecks. Suddenly, that bit of momentum you were building feels small, pointless. You're back to thinking, they got lucky, they had help, I'll never catch up. That's the trap, the envy loop. You compare, you spiral, you stew, and then you scroll for another 30 minutes chasing distraction from disappointment. But here's the thing, envy isn't useless. When used correctly, it's data. The fix to this is to turn envy into intel. Notice the trigger, figure out exactly what set you off, and be honest. Name the desire, what do they have that you actually want, not just what looks flashy. Then deconstruct the path and figure out what actions or habits probably got them there, whether it's their education, their budgeting, consistency, and then extract a lesson. What's one small thing you can do this week that moves you toward a similar goal? Comparison doesn't have to crush you. Used correctly, it's your personal roadmap. Drop your trap, autopilot, perfection, envy, and then the one thing you'll do this week to break it. I'll be reading the comments. If anything I said resonates with you, watch my intro video next. If I can rewrite my life at 30, you can hit reset today. No perfect Monday required.